The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with excitement. Aliens of all shapes and sizes filled the room, their chatter a mix of clicks, whistles, and rumbles. Today was special. For the first time, humans would present their military might to the Council. Captain Sarah Chen stood tall, her crisp uniform a stark contrast to the colorful attire of the alien representatives. Beside her, Lieutenant James Rodriguez fidgeted nervously. They were here to show the galaxy that Earth was ready to join the big leagues. "Calm down, James," Sarah whispered. "We got this." The council leader, a tall, blue-skinned being named Zixnor, raised all four of his hands. The room fell silent. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Zixnor's voice boomed, "we welcome our guests from the planet Earth. They wish to showcase their military prowess and apply for full membership in our esteemed organization." Sarah stepped forward, her heart pounding. This was Earth's big moment. "Honorable Council," she began, her voice steady. "We come in peace, but we are prepared for any threat. Allow me to present Earth's finest military technology." With a nod to James, a hologram flickered to life. It showed Earth's most advanced fighter jet, sleek and deadly. "This is the Thunderbolt X1, Sarah explained. "It can reach speeds of Mach 5 and carries enough firepower to level a small city." A murmur ran through the crowd. Sarah smiled, thinking they were impressed. She couldn't have been more wrong. Suddenly, a harsh laugh cut through the air. It came from Crag, the representative of the warrior Zorn race. His scales glittered as he stood up. "You call that a fighter?" Crag sneered. "My people's children play with toys more advanced than that." Sarah's face flushed, but she pressed on. "We also have state-of-the-art ground forces. Our tanks can—" "Tanks," interrupted Vila, a floating orb of purple energy. "How quaint. Do you still use gunpowder too?" Laughter rippled through the council chamber. Sarah felt her confidence crumbling. She looked to James, who seemed ready to sink into the floor. Zixnor raised a hand, quieting the room. "Please, continue, Earth representatives. What else do you have to show us?" Sarah took a deep breath. "Our naval forces are second to none. Our largest aircraft carrier can—" "Aircraft carrier?" Crag interrupted again. "You mean you still use ships that float on water? How do you even travel between stars with such primitive technology?" The laughter grew louder. Some council members were doubling over, tears streaming down their various appendages. But we have nuclear weapons," Sarah said weakly. "Surely that counts for something." This only made the council laugh harder. Vila's purple form pulsed with mirth. "Oh, my dear humans. Nuclear fission. We outlawed that barbaric technology eons ago. It's not even fit for waste disposal, let alone warfare." Sarah stood there, her face burning with shame. Earth's mightiest weapons, the pride of their military, were nothing but jokes to these advanced beings. Years of preparation, the hopes of billions back home, all crumbling in minutes. Zixnor finally managed to compose himself. "Thank you, Earth representatives, for this entertaining presentation. The Council will now deliberate on your application." As Sarah and James were led out of the chamber, they could still hear the echoes of laughter. In the waiting room, James slumped into a chair. "That was a disaster," he groaned. "We're the laughingstock of the galaxy now." Sarah paced back and forth, her mind racing. "There has to be something we can do. We can't go back to Earth like this. The whole planet is counting on us." Just then, her communicator beeped. It was a message from Earth Command. Sarah's eyes widened as she read it. "James," she said, a glimmer of hope in her voice. "We might have one last card to play." "What do you mean?" James asked, looking up. Sarah's lips curved into a small smile. "Let's just say the Council's laughter might not last much longer. Earth has been keeping a very big secret." As they waited for the Council's decision, Sarah and James exchanged knowing looks. The galaxy had grossly underestimated humanity. Soon, they would learn just how wrong they were to mock Earth's military might. The real show was about to begin. Hashtag Part 2. Human Response Preparation. The journey back to Earth was quiet. Captain Sarah Chen and Lieutenant James Rodriguez sat in silence, the sting of humiliation still fresh. As their ship entered Earth's atmosphere, Sarah's communicator beeped again. Captain Chen, report to Central Command immediately upon landing. The message read. Sarah looked at James. Looks like we're in for a long debrief. Hours later, they stood before Earth's top military brass and government officials. The room was tense, filled with grim faces. General Williams, a stern woman with graying hair, spoke first. Captain, Lieutenant, we've reviewed your report. It's not what we hoped for. Sarah stepped forward. General, with all due respect, we need to. At ease, Captain, the general interrupted. We're not here to point fingers. We're here to unveil humanity's ace in the hole. The room's massive screen flickered to life, showing a massive space station orbiting Earth. Sarah and James gasped. What you're seeing, General Williams continued, is Project Olympus. It's been our best-kept secret for the past decade. Dr. Eliza Wong, Earth's leading physicist, stood up. Project Olympus isn't just a space station. It's a shipyard. And it's about to launch humanity's first true warship. The screen changed, showing a sleek, black vessel unlike anything Sarah had ever seen. Its hull seemed to absorb light, making it hard to focus on. This, Dr. Wong said with pride, is the ESS Thunderchild, our very first Dreadnought-class warship. James whistled low. It's beautiful. But how did we build this without anyone knowing? President Kanzaki, a small man with a powerful presence, spoke up. We've been funneling resources into this project for years. Every nation on Earth contributed, keeping it hidden from prying eyes. But surely the Galactic Council must have detected something, Sarah said. Dr. Wong shook her head. The Thunderchild is equipped with technology far beyond anything the Council has seen. Its hull is made of a new material we call dark matter alloy. It absorbs all forms of radiation, making it virtually invisible to sensors. General Williams stepped forward. Captain Chen, Lieutenant Rodriguez, you're being reassigned. You'll be part of the Thunderchild's maiden crew. Sarah's eyes widened. Us? But after our failure at the Council. That wasn't a failure, President Kanzaki said firmly. It was a misdirection. While they were laughing at our primitive technology, we were putting the finishing touches on the most advanced warship in the galaxy. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Earth wasn't the backward planet the Council thought it was. They had outsmarted the entire galaxy. Your new mission, General Williams continued, is to take the Thunderchild on its shakedown cruise. You'll be testing its systems, including some special surprises we've built in. Dr. Wong pulled up more schematics. The Thunderchild is equipped with a gravity drive, allowing it to manipulate space-time itself. It can create wormholes for instant travel, generate force fields, and even create localized time dilation fields. James let out a low whistle. Time dilation fields. You mean we can slow down time around enemy ships? Precisely, Dr. Wong nodded. Among other things, President Kanzaki stood, his eyes gleaming with determination. The Council mocked us, thinking we were harmless. Soon, they'll realize their mistake. Humanity will not be underestimated again. Sarah felt a surge of pride. This was more than a mission. It was humanity's moment to shine. When do we leave? She asked. General Williams smiled. Immediately. The Thunderchild is prepped and ready. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. As Sarah and James left the room, a mix of excitement and nervousness filled them. They were about to embark on the most important mission in human history. The fate of Earth and the galactic community rested on their shoulders. Little did the Galactic Council know, their laughter was about to turn into stunned silence. Humanity's true power was about to be unleashed upon the stars. The ESS Thunderchild hung in space, a dark silhouette against the stars. Inside, Captain Sarah Chen sat in the command chair, her heart racing with excitement and nerves. Lieutenant James Rodriguez manned the navigation console, his fingers hovering over holographic controls. "All systems check complete, Captain," James reported. "We're ready for our first jump." Sarah nodded, her voice steady as she gave the order. "Engage gravity drive. Let's see what this ship can do." The ship hummed to life. Outside, space itself seemed to bend and warp. In a flash of light, the Thunderchild vanished from Earth orbit. Seconds later, they reappeared near Mars. The crew cheered, but Sarah remained focused. "Status report. All systems nominal," James replied, grinning. "That jump took less power than expected. This ship is incredible." Dr. Wang's voice came over the comm. "Excellent work, everyone. Now let's try something more ambitious. Captain, plot a course for the edge of the solar system." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "That's quite a distance, Doctor. Are you sure?" "Trust me, Captain. The Thunderchild can handle it." With a nod to James, Sarah gave the order. Once again, space warped around them. This time, when they emerged, the familiar planets of the solar system were nowhere to be seen. "Unbelievable," James whispered. "We're past Pluto." A journey that would take years with conventional drives, and we did it in seconds. As the crew marveled at their achievement, alarms suddenly blared. "Captain," shouted the sensor officer, "we've got company." On the main screen, a massive alien ship appeared. Its design was unlike anything in Earth's database. "It's a Zorn battlecruiser," Sarah realized, recognizing the race that had mocked them at the council. They must have been patrolling the system's edge. The alien ship's weapons powered up, targeting the Thunderchild. "They're hailing us," James reported. Sarah straightened in her chair. On screen, the alien captain, a reptilian creature with gleaming scales, appeared. "Unidentified vessel, you have entered restricted space. Power down and prepare to be boarded." Sarah's mind raced. This was their chance to show what humanity could do. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Thunderchild. We will not power down." The Zorn captain's eyes narrowed. "Earth? Impossible. Your species doesn't have this technology. Surrender now, or be destroyed." Sarah smiled coolly. "I'm afraid you're mistaken. Allow us to demonstrate." She cut the transmission and turned to her crew. "Battle stations. Let's show them what the Thunderchild can do." The Zorn ship fired, its energy weapons lancing towards the Thunderchild. But the human ship shimmered and vanished, the shots passing harmlessly through empty space. "Localized time dilation field engage," James reported. "We're moving faster than their sensors can track." Sarah nodded. "Position us behind them. Let's give them a surprise." The Thunderchild reappeared behind the Zorn ship, its own weapons charging. "Target their engines," Sarah ordered. "Disable, don't destroy." Precision shots from the Thunderchild struck the Zorn ship's propulsion systems, leaving it dead in space. The Zorn captain's face appeared on screen again, this time filled with shock and fear. How is this possible?" Sarah leaned forward. "It's possible because you underestimated us. Humanity is not to be trifled with." She turned to her communications officer. "Send a message to Earth. Tell them the Thunderchild's first test was a success, and we've made first contact." As the crew celebrated their victory, Sarah couldn't help but smile. This was just the beginning. The Galactic Council had laughed at humanity's outdated technology, never suspecting the true extent of Earth's capabilities. Now, as the disabled Zorn ship drifted before them, it was clear. The era of human galactic expansion had begun. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, welcoming humanity to its rightful place among them. The Thunderchild's journey was far from over. In fact, It had only just begun. News of the Thunderchild's encounter with the Zorn battlecruiser spread like wildfire across the galaxy. The Galactic Council was in an uproar. How had the humans, who just days ago seemed so primitive, suddenly produced a ship that could outmaneuver one of the most advanced vessels in the galaxy? On board the Thunderchild, Captain Sarah Chen and her crew were riding high on their success. But their celebration was cut short by an urgent transmission from Earth. Captain Chen, General Williams' hologram flickered to life on the bridge. "We've received intelligence that the Zorn are mobilizing their fleet. They're not taking their defeat lightly." Sarah's face hardened. "What are our orders, General?" "Protect Earth at all costs. We're activating our planetary defenses, but the Thunderchild is our best hope. You have full authority to engage any hostile forces." As the transmission ended, Lieutenant James Rodriguez turned to Sarah. "Captain, long-range sensors are picking up multiple warp signatures. It's a fleet, and they're heading straight for Earth." Sarah took a deep breath. This was it, the true test of humanity's new technology. "Battle stations," she ordered. "Prepare to engage the enemy." The Thunderchild moved into position, its dark hull blending perfectly with the void of space. As the Zorn fleet dropped out of warp, Sarah couldn't help but gasp. Dozens of ships, each larger and more menacing than the last, filled the view screen. The lead Zorn ship, a massive Dreadnought, hailed them. The face of Admiral Cragg, the same Zorn who had mocked them at the council meeting, appeared on screen. "Puny humans," he snarled. "Your trickery ends now. Surrender your ship and prepare to be colonized." Sarah stood tall. "Admiral Cragg, this is your only warning. Turn your fleet around now, or face the consequences." Cragg's laughter boomed through the speakers. "You dare threaten me? With one ship? This will be over quickly." The transmission cut off, and the Zorn fleet opened fire. A barrage of energy weapons and missiles streaked towards the Thunderchild and Earth. "Evasive maneuvers," Sarah shouted. "Activate the time dilation field." The space around the Thunderchild shimmered, and suddenly the ship was moving faster than the eye could follow. Zorn weapons passed harmlessly through the space where the ship had been moments before. "Return fire," Sarah ordered. "Target their weapons systems." The Thunderchild's advanced targeting systems locked onto multiple Zorn ships simultaneously. Precision strikes disabled weapons across the enemy fleet, leaving them stunned and vulnerable. Admiral Cragg's face appeared on screen again, this time contorted with rage. "Impossible. What sorcery is this?" Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Not sorcery, Admiral. Just good old human ingenuity." As the battle raged on, the Thunderchild danced between enemy ships, its gravity drive allowing it to appear and disappear at will. One by one, Zorn ships fell silent, their systems disabled by the Thunderchild's pinpoint attacks. But the humans weren't having it all their way. A lucky shot from a Zorn cruiser grazed the Thunderchild's hull, sending tremors through the ship. "Damage report," Sarah called out. James quickly scanned his console. "Minor damage to the outer hull. All critical systems still operational." Sarah nodded grimly. "Good. Let's finish this." With a series of daring maneuvers, the Thunderchild positioned itself directly in front of Admiral Cragg's Dreadnought. The massive Zorn ship loomed over them, but Sarah didn't flinch. "Target their bridge," she ordered. "Let's give the Admiral a close-up view of human technology." The Thunderchild's main weapon, a concentrated beam of dark energy, lanced out. It struck the Zorn Dreadnought's bridge with pinpoint accuracy, shorting out all systems but causing no casualties. As the Zorn fleet hung motionless in space, their ships disabled and their admiral's vessel dark, Sarah opened a channel to all ships. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the ESS Thunderchild. Your fleet is defeated. Return to your territory immediately, or we will be forced to take more drastic action." There was a long pause before a reply came. It was Admiral Cragg, his voice subdued. We surrender. Stand down all weapons." As the Zorn fleet retreated, the crew of the Thunderchild erupted in cheers. They had faced their first true test and emerged victorious. Sarah allowed herself a moment of pride before turning to her communications officer. Send a message to Earth and the Galactic Council. Tell them, the galaxy just got a lot more interesting. The news of the Thunderchild's victory over the Zorn fleet spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. The Galactic Council, once so dismissive of humanity, was now in a state of panic. An emergency session was called, with representatives from all member species gathering to discuss this unexpected turn of events. Captain Sarah Chen and Lieutenant James Rodriguez found themselves once again in the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council. This time, however, the atmosphere was very different. Gone were the sneers and laughter. Instead, a tense silence filled the room as they walked in. Zixnor, the council leader, spoke first. His voice trembled slightly. Captain Chen, Lieutenant Rodriguez, we owe you an apology. Sarah stepped forward, her head held high. No apologies necessary, council leader. We're here to discuss the future, not the past. Murmurs ran through the crowd. The human's confidence was unnerving to many. Vila, the purple energy being who had mocked Earth's technology earlier, floated forward. How did you keep such advanced technology hidden from us? Our sensors should have detected something. James smiled. Let's just say humans are very good at thinking outside the box. The council members exchanged worried glances. If humans could hide such power, what else were they capable of? Crag, the Zorn representative, stood up. His scales were dull, his posture defeated. Our fleet, our best ships, defeated by a single human vessel. How is this possible? Sarah's voice was firm, but not unkind. Admiral Crag, your mistake was in underestimating us. Humanity has always thrived when faced with challenges. Your mockery only pushed us to prove ourselves. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The galaxy's balance of power had shifted dramatically in just a few days. Zixnor cleared his throat. Captain Chen, in light of recent events, the Council has reevaluated Earth's application for membership. We would be honored if Earth would join us. Sarah exchanged a glance with James. This was what they had wanted from the beginning, but now the situation had changed. Thank you, Council Leader, Sarah replied carefully. But I'm afraid it's not that simple anymore. Earth will need assurances. We want to be equal partners, not junior members to be mocked or dismissed. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Never before had a new species dared to make demands of the Council. What kind of assurances? Zixnor asked, his four hands fidgeting nervously. James stepped forward. For starters, we want a seat on the Council's Security Committee. We've proven we can defend ourselves and others. Our voice should be heard in matters of galactic security. More murmurs, some of agreement, others of concern. Sarah continued, we also want open sharing of technology. No more secrets between member species. If we're to face threats together, we need to trust each other. The Council members looked at each other, a mix of fear and admiration in their eyes. These humans were bold, there was no denying that. Vila pulsed brightly. And if we refuse these demands? Sarah's face remained neutral. Then Earth will continue to develop on its own. Who knows? In a few years, we might be the ones inviting you to join our alliance. The implied threat hung in the air. The Council members huddled together, whispering furiously. Finally, Zixnor turned back to the humans. We agree to your terms, he said, his voice a mixture of resignation and respect. Welcome to the Galactic Council, representatives of Earth. As Sarah and James shook hands, or appendages, with the Council members, they couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. In just a few short days, humanity had gone from a laughingstock to a major galactic power. Back on the Thunderchild, as they prepared to return to Earth with the good news, James turned to Sarah. You know, Captain, I can't help but wonder, what's next for us? Sarah looked out at the stars, a smile playing on her lips. "Next, Lieutenant. We've got a whole galaxy to explore, and something tells me the adventure is just beginning." As the Thunderchild's engines hummed to life, the stars seemed to beckon. Humanity's journey among them was only just beginning, and the galaxy would never be the same again. In the months following Earth's dramatic entry into the Galactic Council, the political landscape of the galaxy underwent a seismic shift. Captain Sarah Chen and Lieutenant James Rodriguez found themselves at the center of it all, as Earth's representatives on the Council's Security Committee. Today, they sat in a grand meeting room on the Council's central planet, surrounded by alien delegates from across the galaxy. The atmosphere was tense, filled with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Zixnor, the council leader, called the meeting to order. "Today we discuss the integration of Earth's technology with our galactic defense systems." Sarah stood up, her posture confident. "Thank you, council leader. Earth is prepared to share our advancements, but we have concerns about how this technology will be used." Murmurs rippled through the assembled aliens. Crag, the Zorn representative, spoke up. "What concerns? You agreed to open sharing of technology." James stepped in, his voice calm but firm. "We did, and we stand by that. But we want to ensure this technology is used for defense, not conquest." The room erupted in heated discussions. Some species saw the humans' caution as wisdom, others as a sign of mistrust. Vila, the energy being, pulsed brightly. "Perhaps the humans are not as open as they claimed. Maybe they're hiding even more secrets." Sarah raised her hand, silencing the room. "We hide nothing. But we've seen how quickly power can corrupt. We propose a joint committee to oversee the implementation of new technologies." As the debate raged on, Sarah and James exchanged glances. They knew this wouldn't be easy, but they were determined to guide the galaxy towards a more peaceful future. Meanwhile, back on Earth, changes were happening at an unprecedented pace. The revelation of the Thunderchild and Earth's new galactic status had united humanity like never before. Dr. Eliza Wong stood in her lab, surrounded by a team of human and alien scientists. They were working on combining Earth's dark matter technology with alien propulsion systems. "If we can integrate the quantum flux regulator with the Zorn plasma drive," Dr. Wong explained, pointing to a complex hologram, "we could increase efficiency by 300%. An alien scientist, a tentacled being named Throlk, waved its appendages excitedly. "Incredible. This could revolutionize space travel across the galaxy." As Earth shared its knowledge, it also gained access to centuries of alien advancements. Hospitals were now treating diseases once thought incurable. Schools were teaching children about alien cultures and far-off worlds. But not everyone was happy with these rapid changes. In a dimly lit room on a distant planet, a group of aliens from various species met in secret. "The humans have upset the balance," a shadowy figure hissed. "They'd grown too powerful, too quickly." Another voice chimed in. "We must find a way to check their influence before it's too late." As this secret meeting plotted, unaware of the brewing threat, Sarah and James were wrapping up another long day of the council. Walking back to their quarters, James sighed. "You know, Sarah, sometimes I miss the simplicity of our first days on the Thunderchild. Everything seemed so clear then." Sarah nodded, understanding in her eyes. "I know what you mean. But this is the real challenge, James. Not just proving ourselves in battle, but in peace. Building trust, forging alliances. This is how we secure humanity's future." As they reached their rooms, an urgent message beeped on their communicators. It was from Earth Command. "Captain Chen, Lieutenant Rodriguez." General Williams' voice came through, tense and serious. "We've detected unusual activity in the Orion sector. Multiple unidentified ships gathering. We need you back on the Thunderchild immediately." Sarah and James looked at each other, a mix of excitement and apprehension in their eyes. Their time in the political arena had been crucial, But now it seemed the galaxy might need their other skills once again. "Looks like our next adventure is calling," Sarah said, a determined smile on her face. James nodded, already mentally preparing for what lay ahead. "Whatever's out there, we'll face it together. For Earth and for the galaxy." As they hurried to prepare for their departure, both knew that the greatest challenges, and perhaps the greatest triumphs, still lay ahead. The story of humanity's rise in the galaxy was far from over. The ESS Thunderchill dropped out of warp in the Orion sector, its sleek form barely visible against the backdrop of space. On the bridge, Captain Sarah Chen and Lieutenant James Rodriguez surveyed the scene before them. "Multiple contacts, Captain," James reported, his eyes fixed on the sensor readings. "At least 20 ships of unknown design." Sarah leaned forward in her chair, her face set with determination. "Open a channel. Let's see who we're dealing with." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that made even the seasoned crew of the Thunderchild gasp. The alien on the screen was unlike any they had encountered before, a being of pure energy, its form shifting and pulsing with barely contained power. "Greetings, humans," the being spoke, its voice resonating directly in their minds. "We are the Ethereals. We have watched your rapid rise with great interest." Sarah stood, her voice steady despite her amazement. "I am Captain Chen of Earth. What brings you to this sector with such a large fleet?" The Ethereal's form shimmered. "We come with a warning and an invitation. Your arrival on the galactic stage has upset a delicate balance. There are those who would see you destroyed rather than allow you to grow further." James and Sarah exchanged glances, the secret meeting they had heard whispers of. This must be connected. "And the invitation?" Sarah asked cautiously. "To join us," the Ethereal replied. "We are the guardians of peace in this galaxy, operating from the shadows. With your potential, we could ensure stability for eons to come." Before Sarah could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. James's hands flew over his console. "Captain, multiple warp signatures detected. It's a combined fleet. I'm seeing Zorn, Vila, and several other species." The space around them lit up as ships of various designs dropped out of warp, weapons charged and aimed at both the Thunderchild and the Ethereal fleet. A familiar face appeared on a secondary screen. "Admiral Cragg of the Zorn. Humans, your meddling ends here. And you, Ethereals, your secrets will be hidden no longer." Sarah's mind raced. They were caught between two powerful forces, each with its own agenda. The fate of Earth and perhaps the entire galaxy hung in the balance. She turned to the Ethereal. "You say you guard peace, but you do so from the shadows. That's not the kind of peace Earth believes in." Then, to Admiral Cragg, "And you, Admiral, is this how the Galactic Council responds to change? With violence?" Sarah took a deep breath, then made a decision that would alter the course of galactic history. "To all ships in this sector, this is Captain Sarah Chen of Earth. We reject the old ways of secret plots and power struggles. We propose a new path, one of open dialogue and true cooperation." She nodded to James, who activated the Thunderchild's most secret weapon. A wave of energy pulsed out, temporarily disabling the weapons of all ships in the sector. "Now," Sarah continued, her voice ringing with authority, "we all have a choice to make. Continue this path of conflict, or join us in forging a new galactic order, one built on trust, shared knowledge, and mutual respect." Silence fell across all channels. The Ethereals, the combined fleet, even her own crew, all waited to see what would happen next. Slowly, improbably, ships from both sides began to power down their weapons. The Ethereal spokesperson shimmered with what seemed like approval. Perhaps we have much to learn from you, humans." Admiral Cragg's face showed a mix of resignation and grudging respect. "It seems we underestimated you once again, Captain Chen. We are willing to talk." As the various ships began to form a loose circle, preparing for the most extraordinary peace talks the galaxy had ever seen, Sarah and James shared a smile. "You know, Sarah," James said quietly, "when we first stood before the council, and they laughed at us, I never imagined it would lead to this." Sarah nodded, her eyes on the view screen where representatives from across the galaxy were gathering. "That's the thing about humanity, James. We're always full of surprises." As the talks began, with Earth at the center, it was clear that a new era of galactic cooperation was dawning. The journey that had begun with mockery and laughter had led to a future brighter than anyone could have imagined. The stars themselves seemed to shine more brightly, welcoming this new age of unity and hope.